Hello and welcome to the final live stream of day 3 of #DiscoverLC, our virtual online open event that is running all the way through till Sunday. We've got our last live stream today, but it is a very, very important one and I'm very excited. We've been looking really at the front end of the college, showing you all the things we have to offer. But right now we're looking at the backstage passes, the people who are undercover, making things run and making things work. It's, of course, our governing team. And we haven't got all of them because they're very busy people, but we have got 4 of our wonderful governors. So we're going to sort of introduce you to them, ask them a little bit about what governors do, and really just talk about the role of a governor at Leicester College and why they can help you out. So I'm going to introduce you to them one by one. They are very fantastic. I'm very excited for this stream. So the first person I'd like to introduce you to is Tom Wilson. Hiya, Tom.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. How's things on your end?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. Enjoying myself. First time I've been on StreamYard, so I'm quite excited to see how this works.
Good, yeah. And do you want to tell us sort of a little bit about yourself, sort of outside of the college, just what you do in your own time?
In my own time, I look after my children and do gardening, but I have to have a job as well. I run a charity called the St. Philip Centre. It's based in Evington. We're a Christian-based organisation, but we work with people of all faiths and no faith, bringing people together. In more normal times, we do a lot of visits for schools, taking them to places of worship, helping them meet different people of different faiths. We do training for the police as well, help people understand and engage with diversity.
Amazing, thank you very much. So next up, we have Caroline. Hiya, Caroline.
Hiya, are you all right?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Yeah, I'm Caroline Tote, and outside of being a governor, I work for the City Council. I'm one of the directors there, responsible for some of children's services. And outside of work and being a governor, I have a variety of hobbies, some of which have stopped now because I love watching live music and going to festivals and meeting with friends, all of which we haven't been doing. So I've been largely concentrating on my allotment, which is just down the road, and I love going there.
Amazing. I do definitely feel like gardening has been a very big hobby that a lot of the country have picked up since the start of lockdown. So I feel like if the next 2 haven't mentioned gardening as their hobbies, then they must have been doing something wrong. Next up to introduce you to is Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi there. Well, I'm not a gardener because I live in a flat which is 4 floors up, and so it would be rather difficult to do anything other than tend indoor plants. So I'm Jonathan Kerry. I'm actually the chair of the governing body and have been for 5 years now. I'm also been a governor for a bit longer than that. In my day job, I work for the Church of England, the Diocese of Leicester, which covers all the churches within the city and the county of Leicester. In my spare time, I would normally like to go for walks in the country, which I can do a bit now, and go to the theatre. So I'm a big attender at the Curve Theatre and other places around the area.
Very nice. And I'd like to let you know that my extent of gardening was putting AstroTurf on my balcony, so I wouldn't class myself as a gardener either.
I don't feel quite so bad now.
Okay, what's the last sort of play or production you went to see at the Curve, obviously before the world went a bit wonky?
Oh, it was the Phantom of the Opera.
Very nice.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And in fact, I went to, I think it was almost the last performance before the lockdown.
Wow.
Because we didn't know that was going to happen at the time. But
Yeah.
I'm just glad I managed to get in before it came off.
Amazing. And last but certainly not least, we have Louisa. Hiya, Louisa.
Hi, Ashton. Thank you for having me.
That's all right.
Right, so a little bit about me. So I'm a Leicester girl, born and bred. I've been a chartered accountant now for in excess of 20 years. I absolutely love it. I'm currently responsible for the finance functions of a group of healthcare companies. So amongst other things, we operate some GP surgeries. We sell a lot of diabetes products, quite a lot going on. So we do a lot to support the NHS, which is really exciting. Outside of work, I'm pretty girly. To be honest, I like going shopping, socialising, all those normal types of things. Over the years, I have been a little bit daring. I climbed Kilimanjaro 7 years ago. Still shocked that I actually made it to the top. It's one of my big achievements. And what else? So actually, recently I acquired a really small chapel. So I'm renovating that. It's quite a few hundred years old. So that's going to keep me busy if lockdown continues, doing that renovation project.
Wow, very nice. Some nice projects we got going on, and a climb of Kilimanjaro, which I think would actually end me. So very big props on doing that one. So we're sort of going to be discussing a little bit about what the role of a governor is, how you guys became governors, and what sort of thing you do for the college sort of behind the scenes, because a lot of what a governor does is behind the scenes. So just sort of wanted to clear it up for everyone really, and for myself really, was what the role of a governor is, and especially at Leicester College. So what kind of thing do you do on a sort of governor basis?
Okay, shall I go first, and the others can then tell me that I'm wrong? So the governors are ultimately responsible for everything that happens at the college, and we are accountable to people like the government, who fund through the Department for Education a lot of what goes on at the college, and various other bodies which regulate what goes on. So we have to make sure that everything is done properly, that the financial affairs of the college are properly looked after, and also that the teaching and learning that goes on is of the best possible quality. So we spend our time finding out what the staff team are up to and making sure that everything is hunky-dory.
Amazing. Has anyone got anything else they'd like to add onto that one?
I think what we bring is an independent eye. So we're outside of the day-to-day function of the college, which means that we can come in and ask questions and have a look at how the college is functioning, listen to groups of students, groups of staff, and be able to challenge sometimes when needed, and to also commentate when things are working well.
Fantastic. So it's a lot of sort of holding the college accountable, from an outsider perspective, because being in it, sometimes obviously you don't notice things that maybe aren't as good, but obviously from an outside perspective, it's quite useful to have that. Has anyone, Tom or Louisa, got anything, or do you think that they've covered everything?
I mean, I think I would say that it's really important to give people a voice. So one of my jobs as a governor is chairing the student liaison committee, which I always really enjoy. That meets once a term, and the representatives of different course groups come along and they give feedback. They often give really positive feedback, and I often tell them to stop doing that, and tell us what the problems are. And it's always really good to go away from a meeting realizing that a problem that someone's had is now being dealt with. So providing that mechanism to ensure that students' voices are heard, and that if they've got something that's not being done quite properly, an issue that needs sorting out, that they can be heard and that will be dealt with.
Fantastic, cool.
Sorry, Jonathan. I would just add as well that actually, I mean, coming into I've only been a governor for best part of a year now, but you it's easy to forget actually how complex the college is. If you think of all the different courses that are being run, there are so many different things, and if you compare it to industry, somebody running a chain of car showrooms or something, that they're concentrating on automotive. But actually at the college you've got construction, you've got hair and beauty, you've got maths and English. There's a lot going on, and I suspect some people think that governors are not very visible, but there's so much to look at, that we will from time to time come and do what we call learning walks to walk around and familiarise ourselves with the colleges. And I would encourage people, if they see us walking around, to collar us and say hello, because that would be really nice.
Fantastic. Anyone else have anything to add, or we've covered most of the roles now?
I was just going to say that as well as several governing body members such as ourselves who come from the local community, we do have student governors as well. So the students at the college elect two of their number to sit on the governing body. So we've got the student voice when we're having our meetings, which is really brilliant.
Amazing. I didn't know that, so that's really interesting to sort of find out. So they sit on the board with you and attend the meetings. Amazing. So I think a question that I'm really excited to find out the answer to, because it was hinted to in an email that I was sent, is how did you all become governors? Like what happened that meant you sort of became a governor of Leicester College?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go first, Tom. Go on.
I think the email that is being hinted to is mine, because I said I met the principal of the college in prison.
Yeah.
And that was how I became a governor. Is that enough, or do you need to know?
I'd like some more details, perhaps. But if you want to just leave that ambiguous, then it's
No, I'll tell you. So you might have heard of TED and TEDx, that do, ideas worth spreading. So TEDx Leicester ran an event in Leicester Prison for the men who were inside to show their talents, and it was amazing. There were some really, really talented people there. Anyway, because my job involves engaging with communities, I went along as one of the invited guests, and Verity, the principal, was there as well. And we were waiting to leave. It's I guess the positive bit that we could now go home. But the way prison works is you can't just walk out the door when you're done. You have to wait till everybody's going to leave, and you all go out together. So we were just kind of hanging around, waiting for everybody to gather in the final room before we left. I sat down to talk to somebody because I'm not just going to stand there by myself. And it was Verity, and she started telling me about the college. And that was the start of an interest in becoming a governor that led to me becoming a governor 3 years ago.
Fantastic. So it's definitely, the story does make it a little less cool, but it is still very interesting story. So we'll start with Caroline, maybe we'll pass over to you now.
My daughter was a student at Leicester College a while ago, and she did really well at Leicester College and was very well supported by the college, and actually went on to do a university course, and he's actually doing a master's at the moment. So I always wanted to be able to give something back to the college, and was very interested in being a governor. Had to wait till I had the time to be able to do it, and then an opportunity came up through the City Council to be able to join the Governor's Board, and I just leapt at the chance, really, and I've really enjoyed it, and I've been doing it for 3 years now.
Fantastic, thank you. Should we pass over to Louisa next?
Right, well, similar to Caroline, actually, I needed to wait until I had the time to be able to commit to a role like this. So a few years ago, I got to a point where I was able to work part-time, so then I was open and available and looking for opportunities, because I enjoy giving back and getting involved in different things. So then I happened to be approached by somebody I know who asked me if I would be interested. I think they were specifically looking for somebody with a finance background. So I then got to meet the senior management team and the governors, and it kind of went from there, and we agreed that I would be a good fit.
Fab, thank you. And last but not least, Jonathan.
Yes, well, I opened my big mouth, really. So Verity, the principal, came to speak to a meeting that I was at not long after she'd become principal of the college. And she was just talking about what the college does and what her role was, and happened to throw in as a remark, and we're always on the lookout for people who might be willing to serve as governors. So in conversation afterwards, I said, "Oh, so what does that involve?" And before I knew it, I was unable to escape. And I then was asked to become vice chair and finally chair. I never really knew this would happen, but here I am.
Some may say a series of unfortunate events, depending on how you looked at it, but we'll go with fortunate events more.
It's been great.
Good. So the next sort of question I have, it links a little bit to the role of governors. It's really how you support the college and the students in general. Like I said, it's quite a little bit sort of similar to your role, but what specifically do you do to support the college?
Do you want me to add in a bit?
You can very much act as a sounding board and support and challenge, and by kind of asking those questions, I think it just makes people in the college, think very carefully about what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So we very much help with the strategic kind of decisions rather than getting into real operational detail, which it can be quite easy to try and, to get into that. But actually, you've got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, and a little bit more kind of long term as well.
Yeah.
And I think part of what we do is act as ambassadors for the college. So in our workplaces and the other arenas in which we meet people, we're able to talk about what the college is doing, what a fantastic resource it is for Leicester and places around it, and particularly in these challenging times to tell the good news about how the college is responding to the challenges, both of the current coronavirus crisis, but also, the bigger challenges of our society. And that means that we are able to then make sure we get wider support from the other parts of the community, such as local employers and other agencies that we need to work in partnership with.
Fantastic. Is there anyone else got anything you'd like to add, other than the child that was obviously being very vocal and really wants to talk, which I assume might be Tom's?
It is, yeah.
Totally fine. One thing I should say to anyone watching, if you do have any questions or anything you'd like to say to the governors, do pop it in the comments and we'll make sure to sort of try and answer those questions or share thoughts on that one. The next question I had, obviously, other than the sort of student governors that speak to you, and obviously Tom, you mentioned the sort of student was it the student council that you...
It's called the Student Liaison Committee, so it meets once a term and is an opportunity for students to feedback. The principal normally comes, so if anyone's got an issue they want to raise with her or raise and ask her to deal with, then they can do that.
Fantastic. So how can students sort of get in contact with you outside of that committee and the governors? Is there a way they can talk to you or air their concerns to you?
Yes, we have somebody called the clerk to the governors as part of her job, and that's Louise Hazel, who's also part of the senior leadership team of the college. So people can contact her, email her, or send her a note in some other way, and she will pass it on to either myself or one of the other governors, depending on what the question is, and we will be able to respond very quickly.
Fantastic. I'll pop Louise's email in the comment section. So if you do have any emails you'd like to send, you can send them to that email address. Does anyone else have anything to add on that? Or is that a pretty succinct answer on that one? Yeah, cool. Perfect. So we want to sort of think about, your role as a governor. But what has been some of the challenges of being a governor with us? Obviously, don't be too mean, but what has been some of the challenges that you faced?
I think from...
Go on.
Sorry.
No, you go first.
Okay. I think I'm probably one of the newer governors, actually. And I think whenever you go into any new role, there's different acronyms and different things to learn. And actually, the college is a really complicated, entity, because as I alluded to earlier, there's a lot going on. Funding comes in from all different streams. There's the number of courses, the number of pupils, the number of staff. So there is a lot of complexity. So for me, it's really trying to get my head around how further education and higher education colleges actually work. And then when you throw in things that happen like COVID-19, that's an additional challenge on top of all of that as well. So that's my personal kind of challenge that I've had in the last year. Obviously, for somebody like Jonathan, who's been a bit more experienced, he'll have probably fewer challenges than me, but they still exist for us all.
Fantastic. Anyone else have anything you'd like to add?
I would agree. I think it's the breadth of the work that the college covers. I've been working for a long time for the City Council and thought I could just use all the experience I'd gained there and grasp everything that the college does really quickly. But no, I'm 3 years in and I'm still learning an awful lot. So yeah, there's a lot to get your head around, a lot of business that's done, and a lot of curriculum areas, as already been said, that the college covers. It's a big college, and it's that's what makes it so vibrant and really interesting to work within as a governor. It's great.
There is a lot of acronyms to wrap your head around, and there's still new ones I find out every day that it takes me ages to figure it out. It's like a puzzle every day. Tom, did you have anything to add as well?
I think the other challenge is you have to help a college try and be certain when things aren't certain. So we're never entirely sure exactly how the money's going to work. If government changes its policy on something or doesn't issue guidance exactly when we expect them to, we're not entirely sure what it is we're supposed to do, or suddenly something changes and you have to do something very quickly, and have you got the resource to make that work? So we're trying to help the college plan long-term and strategically, and we don't always have access to all the information we might need to help the college make good decisions. So sometimes you have to make the best decision you can with the information you have.
Fantastic. Just to let everyone know, if there is any rumbling, there is a thunderstorm currently happening outside my house.
Right.
So, yeah, it's not just my stomach rumbling, I promise. So yeah, there's a lovely thunderstorm. The joys of working from home, eh? But yeah, do you have anything to add as well, Jonathan?
I think one, which is a challenge that goes with everything everybody else has said, is really that of time, because we're all volunteers, and most of us have full-time jobs that we're trying to cope with as well. So the time we've got to get to grips with the complexity of the college, to know everything that's going on, means we have to be very smart in the way we use the time we've got available, and try and make sure always that we are giving attention to the things that are really the most important, recognizing that there'll always be a lot of things that we can't get too involved in because the time just isn't there.
Perhaps it's wanting to do just too much and just not having that time for it. So, it's like a good thing about having a bad thing, because that's what we like to say, a positive issue. So the last sort of question I have for you, and it's sort of like the counter on that one, is what have been the great things about being a governor? Like, what really stands out, or something that you've really that made this all worthwhile? Anyone like to go first?
For me, it's go on, Caroline.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's in understanding what the college does, because I obviously experienced Leicester College as a parent, first of all, supporting my daughter when she was at the college, but coming at it from the governor's perspective, understanding what the college does, and the passion that I see within Leicester College demonstrated by everybody that works for the college, and the students and the governors, has been absolutely phenomenal. And we're always striving to be better, and that's really good as well. So we're not standing still. We have our challenges, as already been said, around money and about government changes, and COVID itself has been a massive challenge to the college, but we're always striving to be much better, and that's great. It's great to be part of a team that wants to do that. So I've been blown away by that, actually.
Fab. Anyone else like to add something as well?
For me, it's go on.
Sorry, Jonathan. I mean, I really enjoy seeing young adults and young people and anybody just really enjoying what they're doing and succeeding. So again, being from Leicester, and over the years, I've employed a lot of people and seen them go through training and pass exams, and that you get a real buzz from seeing that. So being part of something where you're really helping people with their lives and with their futures, and hopefully doing courses that they enjoy, it's just really nice to be part of that. So I feel really proud to be part of Leicester College. I think it's a fantastic place, and yeah, it's just great. It's great to meet new people and build up new relationships as well. But yeah, to see people succeed and pass their exams and pass their courses, it's brilliant.
Fab. Jonathan, would you like to add something as well?
Yeah, much the same, actually. And one of the highlights of the life of the college during the year is when you get to see people receiving their achievement awards at the end. So we're able to go to some of the little awards ceremonies that are, well, normally anyway, are held. And just to see the sense of pride and achievement. People often have astonished themselves in what they've been able to do. Often people come to the college having not really had a good result from their education previously, but they give it a go and suddenly find actually they can do really well. And seeing the smiles on people's faces when they know that actually they're capable of doing some really great things is absolutely wonderful. And that makes even the boring meetings that we have to go to sometimes, and I'll admit that, very much worthwhile, because it's about, in the end, it's about the learners succeeding.
Fantastic. And Tom, would you like to add anything as well?
I mean, I'd echo a lot of what's been said. The only other thing I can think of is I really enjoy doing learning walks, and not just meeting the students and hearing how they're achieving, but also meeting the staff and hearing their passion for their subjects and seeing how good they are at their jobs.
Fantastic. Cool. So that's sort of all the questions I really have for you. So we will start wrapping things up now. But I just wanted to sort of ask, or sort of request, really, if you had any sort of information or little bits of advice for any learners that are coming to join us in sort of September, hopefully maybe not September, as close to September as possible, or any sort of students that are watching, do you have any sort of advice or just sort of bits of wisdom that you can impart?
I think if you're hesitating about whether to come to college, then hesitate no more. It's a wonderful place, and you will get tremendous support if you're facing any challenges, whether that's to do with your studies or even more widely in your home life or whatever. The college has great support for you, and you will find that you are able to do things that will astonish you, because the college is that sort of place. So don't hesitate, get enrolled, come along.
Fab. Anyone else?
I would agree with Jonathan, and I was going to say exactly the same. We've got a huge, obviously, curriculum, curriculum brief, but equally a lot of support, an awful lot of support that students receive from the college as well, from all sorts of backgrounds, with all sorts of challenges, with all sorts of wants and needs, and I've seen those covered completely. So I would agree, come to the college. And my personal experience with my daughter, she had really struggled at school, and she absolutely blossomed at the college. Unbelievably, it was lovely to see. Over the 3 years she was at Leicester College, it was fantastic.
That's really good. Really nice to hear, isn't it? Anything else from Tom or Louisa, or is it just very much echoing of what Jonathan and Caroline have said?
It is. I would also add, I mean, this is from my own personal experience, that my teachers at school had written me off, and it's a direct quote. My parents were told Louisa will not amount to much, but actually Louisa did amount to quite a lot. And that was after I finished school. I decided not to go to university, but I continued with my education. I worked really hard, and I succeeded. So prove people what wrong, work hard, and you will get there. But for me personally, it was, I worked hard. I did what I enjoyed. Some days were tougher than others. Some days I was in my books and I was just hating doing the studying, but I got it out of the way. And it was, the best thing that I ever did. It gave me a really good foundation for my future.
Fantastic. And Tom, anything to add?
I just echo what everyone else has said, really. I mean, I think the college is a great place to study. There's loads of things you can do as well as study, so make the most of all the opportunities you're offered.
100%. Well, thank you all very much for joining us. We've had some thank yous on the comments as well, which is great. It has been really, really informative. I didn't know beforehand what a governor was or what a governor did, so this is fantastic for me as well. I feel like they definitely made me do this because they were like, you don't know enough. You go and ask lots of questions. But thank you so much for joining us. This has been really informative. We'll be back tomorrow morning at, I think it's 10 o'clock or 9:45. One of those two. I'll figure it out later. With computing, and there'll be lightning.
Yeah. Wow.
Live on stream. So before I think I get blown away by this storm that's happening, I will end the stream. We're back tomorrow with computing. So take a look at the schedules on the website and find out sort of when your subject area is. But for now, we'll all go and we'll sort of enjoy our Wednesday, very rainy Wednesday afternoon. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll see you soon. Bye everyone.
Bye.